Alright, welcome back to our horror binge where we're looking at nothing but horror movies for the entire month of October. Today we're going to check out a movie that terrified me as a child, but after rewatching it, not as scary as I remember. Because you know when you're a kid, everything scares you. Right? Anyways, today we're looking at the Hills Have Eyes remake released in 2006, directed by Alexandre Aja. Now, I like this movie. It's not your typical horror movie where it relies on jump scares and loud noises, because in my opinion it does a good job setting the tone with its atmosphere alone, and you always get the feeling that the character is being watched by something you can't see. And to me, that's good horror, where you don't have to have a scary demon with loud violins when the demon isn't very scary to begin with. It's just the loud violins that catch you off guard. Anyways, I got sidetracked. But there's always going to be things you find in your favorite movies where after watching them, you find things you don't necessarily like, and then you think to yourself, well, why did that happen? Or why did this need to happen? But this movie isn't just supposed to be scary, because it's also disturbing. So fair warning, this movie does contain sexual assault and animal cruelty. So fair warning, if you were going to watch this, or before we even start, this movie goes places. Another thing I want to add before we begin is that after watching this again, I realized that the characters make stupid decisions all the time. And quite a few things don't make sense to me at all, but that doesn't mean I hate the movie by any means. It's just that there's a reason why it's not the top of my list. But with that out of the way, let's begin. We start with some words on the screen talking about how the US government conducted 331 nuclear tests between 1945 and 1962, which brings us to the New Mexico desert, and it doesn't clarify what point in time this takes place. We see some nuclear scientists going fishing when a random dude pops up looking beat to hell, then a mutated person shows up and dismantles the entire scientist team with a pickaxe, then adds all the bodies as decor for their truck. After that, we get some beginning credits showing some creepy stuff. After the credits, we're taken to a gas station which looks pretty abandoned, but it's not, because the attendant lives there, played by Tom Bauer, and he gets woken up from a nap from a noise outside. He goes to check it out with his boomstick when he approaches a mining tunnel and says, "Let you, Jupiter, I got some buckshot for you, you hear me?" What does this guy have against the solar system? When he goes back to his gas station house, he finds a bag on his front step, which I assume is a bribe of some sort, but yells, "I told you it's over! I'm out! You hear me? You're on your own now!" He goes inside knowing the bribe bag, but then changes his mind. Inside, we see him looking through the bag while the camera shows this through a curtain, which is one of the reasons I like this movie. The cinematography like this is implying he's being watched. He finds jewelry in an ear-to-go container. You don't have to like it, but that's lunch. We then get to meet a family on a road trip needing some gas with the dad, played by Ted Levine, mother Ethel, played by Kathleen Quinlan, their son Bobby, played by Dan Bird, their daughter Brenda, played by Emily DeRaven, their other daughter Lynn, played by Vanessa Shaw, and her husband Doug, played by Aaron Stanford, and their baby Catherine. Also, their two dogs Beauty and Beast. While pumping their gas, the attendant asks where the family is headed.
Where are y'all headed?
San Diego?
California?
No, Massachusetts. After they talk about the desert a bit, Bob then tells the attendant that it's illegal to smoke around a gas pump, which he replies.
Yeah.
Cut to Bobby taking a leak when he sees someone peeking into the outhouse and flips out, but oddly assumes it was his sister.
Freaking perv.
We then see the attendant telling Bob and Ethel about the roads they can take to California, but saying it's a long drive. It's here we see Bob tell us he was a detective and he's starting his own security firm. Their dog Beauty runs out of the trailer and into the station, where I'm also certain all of this food is expired by a few years. Lynn goes in to get Beauty, where she finds her in the same room the attendant was going through the bag with the jewelry in the ear. He then comes in asking if he can help her, startling her in the process. As she leaves, he looks at the bag and thinks she knows something is wrong. That's when he starts to panic, because I bet he's thinking, that dude's a cop, I'm fucked. He goes out before they leave and tells them about a shortcut they can take to save them a few hours on their trip, saying they need to go through the hills a couple miles ahead. It's here where we put two and two together, that he is the one that sends people to the hills where they end up dying. And I guess he gets their belongings as a form of payment, I guess? Fast forward as they're going down the shortcut, spikes emerge on the road, which causes their car to spin and crash into a rock. Their car is totaled, but no one got hurt, and their two dogs run away again. Doug goes up to Bob asking how bad it is, and after confirming it's totaled, Doug asks if he can fix it, but that just leads them to getting into an argument. Bobby brings the dogs back, but back on the rocks above, we see a person sneaking around. Back at the car, Bob loads up with a magnum and gives Bobby a handgun as well for protection. In the trailer, we see Lynn grabbing some stuff as she looks out the window as she feels something is out there.
Bobby! Fucker!
Could you give me a Twinkie?
Nice. Bob and Doug prepare to walk in separate directions to find help, as Ethel wants to pray quickly before they go, but Brenda doesn't want to and finds it embarrassing.
Thank God no one's watching us.
Yeah, about that. Because the camera pans out through some binoculars and we hear some spooky sounds. Doug and Bob go their separate ways to find help, and now the others are having dinner. After some conversing, Brenda goes in the trailer to grab a drink when Beauty runs away again. Bobby chases after her, but it's too late because a couple minutes later he hears Beauty yelp in pain after following the cry when someone in a red hoodie sneaks around. Oh yeah, this person stole a red hoodie from their car at the gas station. Unfortunately, Bobby finds Beauty dead and de-organed. He runs away and then falls off a small cliff, which knocks him out. While unconscious, the red hooded woman, whose name is Ruby, played by Laura Ortiz, comes up and touches his face while this piece of shit is eating the dog's leg and laughs creepily while doing it. Cut to Doug for a bit, who has found a massive crater with over a dozen vehicles in it. It's now nighttime as Bob reaches the gas station and yells for the attendant, but he's not answering, while outside we see some shadows dispersing. He then goes into the room where the bag and the ear in a container are and immediately draws his big gun. He sees some news articles explaining exactly what happened in the hills, including the disappearance of many families. Bob rushes to his car, but it's not starting. He then hears the attendant from the outhouse crying in anguish. When he approaches, the attendant is holding his boomstick, and after apologizing, he blows his own head off. After that, voices from the shadows start saying "Daddy" over and over again. Bob rushes back to his car, but he forgets rule number 31, always check the back seat, when he's greeted by a man who then bashes Bob's head into the window. They take him to a tunnel all bloody, where we see a whole bunch of disfigured people dragging him away. Back at the trailer, Brenda is out looking for Bobby, and when she brings him back, he doesn't bother telling anybody what happened for some reason. Doug returns with some nifty stuff. Then we see Beast finding Beauty dead. Poor doggo. Everyone goes to bed, but Bobby can't sleep. He goes outside looking for Beast. He then hears some barking in the bushes, but it's not what he thinks it is. When we go back to Brenda, we meet Pluto, played by Michael Bailey Smith, who starts touching Brenda like a sick fuck. Bobby goes to Doug and Lynn, who are sleeping in the car, and tells them there are people living in the hills and Beauty is dead. About fucking time. As they are about to go in the trailer, Pluto detonates a pyro device which engulfs Bob in flames while crucified. Damn! Doug runs inside for an extinguisher and doesn't see the big ass dude on top of Brenda. Get your glasses fixed, man. We then see the leader, Lizard, played by Robert Joy. He goes inside and makes a mess. He pulls Pluto off Brenda, then proceeds to sexually assault her. Lynn goes back to the trailer where she sees Lizard holding her baby. She then whacks him with a frying pan while he drops the baby. Nice. He brings her to the ground while aiming his gun at the baby, then proceeds to sexually assault Lynn. None of that needed to happen at all to progress the story of the movie. Ethel returns to the trailer with a rock, and as she goes to smash some heads in, Pluto yells, then Lizard shoots Ethel in the chest with his magnum. Doug and Bobby hear the shot, so they run back to the trailer. Lizard is then about to shoot Brenda when Lynn stabs him in the leg, instead of the neck or something. He then shoots Lynn in the head. Pluto and Lizard make a getaway when Lizard tries to bring Brenda with them. He sees Bobby and Doug coming, which they should have been there by now if they were running. He attempts to shoot Brenda, but he's out of bullets. So he runs off, but not before grabbing that American flag antenna. They run away while Bobby misses some shots. Noob. And then Bob's body proceeds to get dragged off. We see Doug going into the trailer to see his mother-in-law and wife both shot, which would fucking suck. But probably could have been avoided if Bobby just told everyone what happened and they could have prepared or something. I don't know. And Doug is quick to realize his baby's also missing. We cut to the piece of shit who is eating Beauty's leg, whose name is Goggle, played by Ezra Buzzington. He hears something behind him, and when he goes back to his spying, Beast comes out of nowhere and rips the dude apart like a good boy. Back to the trailer, Doug is comforting Ethel as she gives some last words, saying his wife loved him. Aww. Then she dies. Doug then hears a voice calling for Goggle, then proceeds to turn off the trailer lights, because camouflage, I guess. Because they won't enter if no one's home. Bobby shoots the door a few times because who needs ammo in this situation, and Doug goes out to find Goggle's severed arm with a walkie-talkie. He then tells Bobby to shoot the floor of the trailer because he thinks someone is under it, but it's just the good boy Beast. He's lucky he didn't kill that dog. They hear the baby crying on the walkie when Doug drops it. The next day, and Doug takes Beast with him to find his baby. They go through some creepy tunnel with some noise cinematography. After exiting the tunnel, he finds a village. Back to Bobby and Brenda, we see them setting up a fire to signal for help and some tripwires. Back to Doug, he explores the village when he sees his baby through a window on a bed. He goes to find a way in until this ugly ass pops up dragging a body, and I think this guy is Sist, played by Greg Nicotero himself, who also did the special effects in this movie. Beast makes a sound which causes him to turn around, then Doug and Beast vanish into a nearby car, which makes zero fucking sense at all. Doug leaves Beast in the car as he goes to get his baby. He makes it in, and as he's carrying her away, he gets bonked on the head by a person dropping the baby. Okay, this baby has been dropped twice and been in a car wreck. Also, Beast could have been helpful there. Just saying. Cut to Bobby and Brenda moving their dead sibling's body into the car out of the trailer. And then back to Dougie, who's in a box. I don't think it's a freezer, so I'm calling it a box. Okay? Okay. It's filled with severed limbs, so he freaks out and starts screaming and bashes the hatch off, which doesn't bring attention to him, I guess. Beast then leaves the car like the beast he is and goes to help Doug. He wanders around the building and sees Bob's charred corpse with the American flag stuck in his head. And then meets Big Brain, played by Desmond Askew. Doug demands to know where his baby is, but Big Brain says he doesn't know and blames Doug's people for the bombing of their homes and for what they become. He laughs and then enters Pluto. Oh yeah. They proceed to ensue in a pretty good fight scene. Doug stabs Pluto in the stomach with the handle of his broken baseball bat, which doesn't hurt him at all because of immortality. He knocks Doug down and then spears him through the wall and then throws him through a window with one hand. Dang! The music is picking up when Pluto brings down the axe and cuts off 2 of Doug's fingers, which kind of irks me because so far they have had good special effects, which to me most looked practical. But then when he gets his fingies chopped off, it looks like that, and when the nub flies off, there is no shadow at all. Come on, movie! Intensity picks up as Pluto starts hacking, slinging, and slashing some dummies and furniture. As he goes for the final blow on Doug, he stops when Doug presents the holy screwdriver as a peace offering. He begs Pluto not to kill him, while Big Brain then mocks him, which distracts Pluto, which allows Doug to stab Pluto in the foot, which causes him pain, so his immortal weakness was feet. Gotcha. Doug stabs him through the neck with the flag antenna from Bob's head and then brings the axe into the brain, which kills Pluto. And then Doug takes a moment to bask in his own glory of victory. Sist wobbles to the scene when Doug launches a surprise attack, killing him. Big Brain then calls Lizard, saying to kill the baby, which could have been avoided if Doug just killed that tumor-looking fuck. Relax, Tanner, it's almost over. But it's okay because Beast shows up and proceeds to rip apart Big Brain like the good boy he is. We see Doug and Lizard simultaneously walking through a building, adding tension as to which house contains the baby. Doug runs to a crib but only finds a doll when 2 random kids come out of nowhere and what the fuck is that? That's the scariest character I've seen in this movie. Why is he wearing that? Back to Lizard as the music picks up, adding tension as he prepares to kill the baby, but only finds a pig because Ruby took the baby away. At the trailer, Bobby and Brenda's tripwire sounds a little alarm they rigged up from a fishing rod and a baby toy, but it ends up being a tumbleweed. Returning to their car, they find their mother has been taken away. Bobby starts walking around like a vengeful badass when he finds Jupiter, played by Billy Drago, eating Ethel. He then chases Bobby, which turns Bobby into a pussy as he runs away, firing wildly, missing most of the time, but lands a couple, still a noob. After dodging a pickaxe throw, he runs into the trailer where they rigged to blow it up. Jupiter reaches in and grabs Brenda as Bobby ties his hands together. As they escape, Jupiter gets out of the restraints and opens the trailer door, but when he does, he goes kaboom! All of that for one fucking guy. Back to Duggo, he chases after Ruby to finally retrieve his baby. Ruby has no issue returning the baby because she's like the only good cannibal, I guess. Lizard surprise attacks Doug and fights him for a little bit. He gets the upper hand and then bashes Doug's head into the ground. Horror movies don't take head trauma that seriously, do they? And then Doug gets up because the plot armor is real. Lizard catches up to Ruby, but not before Ruby drops the fucking baby again, which is the 3rd time this baby has been dropped in this movie. He tries to take the baby away from Ruby, then Doug comes in and beats his ass with the butt of a shotgun and shoots him in the shoulder and stomach, but never the head, because no one ever does. He drops the gun beside Lizard without finishing him for some fucking reason. As he gets his baby back, Lizard pops up wielding the shotgun. Shocker. But Ruby makes a hero save and tackles Lizard off the cliff, and they both die, but he doesn't have the shotgun anymore. But whatever, not like it's useful or anything. Cut back to Bobby and Brenda surveying the destruction they caused. They see Jupiter still alive, somehow, laughing as Brenda runs to the rescue with a pickaxe to the dome. Doug returns with his baby and Beast, but no gun. Some heroic welcoming music plays as they embrace each other, and the movie ends as the camera pans out to some binoculars setting up a very bad sequel just a year later. The end. So, that was The Hills Have Eyes, and looking back, I have quite a few issues with the movie, mainly the characters being very stupid at parts. If you watch the movie for yourself, I don't include everything from the movie in these videos, so you could still find stuff that irks you guys as much as it does me, I imagine. But I mean, I could still go back and watch it no problem, even though I know the issues are there, which ruffles my feathers, but hey, what are you gonna do? After watching The Hills Have Eyes, I'm going to give it 5.5 German Shepherds out of 10. Now, you might say that's a low score for me because I do like the movie, but it's right in the middle, and I think that's fair. I don't love the movie, but I don't hate it by any means. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm not going to say what my next uploads are going to be. I want them to be a surprise when I upload. So subscribe so you don't miss out. Woo! Cheap upload, yeah! All right, everyone, take care.